Deportes.
200 laps, 500 miles tonight.
And there you see pit road speed 55 miles per hour. That's after out on the racetrack over 200. Fuel window 44 to 48 laps.
Don't forget that halfway money.
$200,000.
Yes, sir.
And these drivers had trouble early in the week, went to backup cars. Temperature cooling to 69 degrees, partly cloudy. Rain, rain, stay away as we're ready to start the Great American Race in Monday prime time on Fox.
Yes, sir. We've already talked about it. She's going to be a wild one. We're going to see some sparks fly. We got to get this baby started. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and Danica.
Down below the yellow line and off pace in this opening lap in the number one.
I think he's hunting his teammate,
yeah,
that red car right there, Juan Pablo Montoya.
Yeah, they had a plan. They were going to get hooked up.
So strategy not a problem for McMurray. And two-car tandem. Talk about teammates that have hooked up. Greg Biffle and his Roush Fenway Ford teammate Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards. 3 Fords.
Trouble already.
The wall. Slams to the outside. It's 5-time champion Jimmy Johnson. He collects Danica Patrick and the 34 of David Reagan.
Trevor Bayne, the 21 car, winner from last year. You see him involved?
Kurt Busch is involved.
I'm a little worried about Jimmy. He took a hard lick right in the door. And there's the HenryCar.com Chevrolet of Kurt Busch. He's got damage.
1 lap and 600 feet. And it's calamity.
When you see the replay of this and you see what Danica did, you won't believe it.
All right, let's keep an eye on Jimmy Johnson. He's right tucked up underneath the 78 of Regan Smith.
Ooh, just got a little tap in the back end.
I believe that might have been Elliott Sadler at 33.
Elliott Sadler gave him just a little tap. Right here's what I was talking about. Watch Danica. Right there, she gets some damage, but then watch her go down. Jimmy's car's total, but watch her right here, right between those two cars.
First caution of the night, lap 2. Here's another look. Look at that outside lane and the blue car that's second in line.
You see, Jimmy just gets a little bit loose, and when he corrects, it just overcorrects, and into the fence it goes. And then he gets a really hard lick right here. That's the one that really worried me. He got that right in the driver's door.
Darrell, what was one of our Goodyear keys? Don't push me in the left rear. This tri-oval can be pretty treacherous.
Now from the blimp, watch for the green car as Danica Patrick comes into frame from the top of your screen.
See right here, Jimmy's getting ready to get a hard lick, but here's Danica right here. She gets some damage off of Jimmy Johnson's car there, but I do not. This is the wildest thing I've ever seen. Watch this car go right, but these two cars, these guys are all wrecking, and she goes right in between them.
A big chain reaction crash as Johnson's car just clogs the racetrack. And the 34, David Reagan, had car to the outside, car to the inside. Nowhere to go. We'll ride with Danica Patrick.
He was just looking. Inside too wide. Oh, slow. Take up. Go low.
And now with Jimmy Johnson.
Inside only.
All the drivers involved have either climbed out of their cars or driven back to the pits. They're okay, but what a hard hit.
these guys, I've seen a lot of wrecks in stock cars in NASCAR, but these guys have all taken a lesson from Danica Patrick. They have seen what she does when she's been in some hard wrecks, and they've taken their hands off the wheel, and he is hurt. He took a hard lick. He's got the wind knocked out of him, I'm sure.
And that wraparound headrest certainly helps to contain movement, as does the Hans device, the head and neck support. And these are the cars involved. Since winning the 500 in 2006, Jimmie Johnson's average finish in this race has been in the mid-30s.
Back it down. Go high, Kurt. Go high, Kurt. Go wrecking up ahead. Back it down. Pick up. Go low.
Slams to the outside. It's five-time champion Jimmie Johnson.
What the hell? Checked up big time. He over 78. He just stopped.
He collects Danica Patrick.
I'm a little worried about Jimmy. He took a hard lick right in the door.
All that happened on lap 2. And now, under caution, Juan Pablo Montoya has crashed and gone aflame.
Holy cow, what happened?
We just got a report that he was complaining about a bad vibration in every gear.
No, Larry, he just slammed
into the jet dryer.
I think he slammed into the jet dryer.
They're trying to clear debris off the racetrack, and the car brakes, won't steer, and he slides up the track and into the back of that surplus helicopter jet engine on a trailer used to dry the racetrack.
Mike, I saw sparks coming out from the car as if it had a tire down or something. What an incredible turn of events. I've never in my life. Oh my gosh.
And all that spilled jet fuel found something hot to ignite it. Safety workers quickly on the scene. And this is a bizarre twist to this Daytona 500. Down in turn number 3.
Well, I've seen a lot of things, but I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this. That fuel is just running right down. That thing's full of fuel. They keep them full all the time. I just wonder what it's going to do to the racetrack.
Well, here comes the fire crew. You see the red truck bottom of the screen. They've got to get that out because that fire could damage the racing surface.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, you got fuel, it's on fire. It could eat that asphalt right up.
It is commonplace for track safety, rescue, track drying vehicles to circulate the track under a caution flag. Drivers must maintain reasonable speed while catching up the pack and avoid those emergency vehicles. They're brightly lit and everything. That's easy to do when you can be under control of your race car.
I just wonder if Montoya was going down the back catching up with the field and he didn't know the safety truck was up there. They called him on the radio and said, "Watch that safety truck," and the car darted hard right. Something had to happen.
I saw sparks underneath. The car broke, and I don't believe he had steering control.
I don't either. I mean,
the car went up the track.
When you see the sparks come out from under the car, it just looks like it had a flat tire or something happened to it. I don't know how many gallons of jet fuel that thing holds, but I guarantee you it's got several gallons in it. Several, probably 100.
Track personnel exited that cleanup truck very quickly after the collision and walked away.
That's got to be eating the track up. I just wonder what it's going to do to it, Larry.
Yeah, that fire's been burning for quite a while now.
And let's reiterate, Juan Pablo Montoya climbed from his car and walked quickly away. The car destroyed. He is all right and trying to get what is now a jet fuel fire under control, blazing in turn number 3.
But Darrell, I keep going back. We just had gotten a report. They were telling me in my ear that Montoya had a bad vibration in every gear he was putting it in. So something was going on with that 42 car.
The race has been red flagged. That means the cars have been stopped. well away from the turn 3 scene. They've been red flagged on the back straightaway, and you're looking at what happens when 200 gallons of jet fuel meet a spark, or something very hot after a collision like that.
Yeah, that thing just burst into flame. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Still trying to get it under control.
And you know, I would say maybe they could drive it down off the track, but if you look, the driver's door is caved in. I don't think you can even get in the vehicle if you were brave enough to try it.
Now, we've just had pit stops. Everyone from 5th place on back has stopped. Dave Blaney did not pit under this caution, along with Landon Castle, Tony Raines, and David Gilliland. They are the race leaders as we are under the red flag. Blaney driving for the Tom Baldwin Jr. team. Castle with a brand new ride, and Raines, who just got a ride a few weeks ago into the Daytona 500 with teammate to Gilliland at Front Row Motorsports. They are the race leaders under this red flag for a bizarre incident entering turn number 3. When Indy 500 and Monaco Grand Prix winner Juan Pablo Montoya went down the back straightaway, something on the car broke from the sparks underneath, lost control of the steering, and slid up into the trailer that held that jet helicopter engine, which was blowing debris off the racetrack while we were under caution.
You know, as far as the drivers that pitted, Matt Kenseth in the 17, who had been leading, he won the battle off pit road. I mean, that car is destroyed.
Look at Montoya's car.
More fire trucks going to the scene. Now, that's the front of the race car. It hit the trailer, which went up in the air, and the race car pretty much submarined underneath it.
It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Watch Montoya's car on this replay as we try to discern what may have broken. We're under caution.
Here he comes back here. You can see him coming. Jet dryer's up high. He sees the safety truck flashing its lights. Sparks fly, and around he goes.
Here's a different angle. See the safety trucks up top?
Wow. I mean, it just exploded. When it hit it, it just exploded.
And he was traveling at a high rate of speed, trying to catch back up with the field.
Back of the field.
Montoya climbs away, and the driver of the safety truck was helped from his vehicle, walked down the banking and away. We have some audio from Juan Pablo Montoya.
Yeah, something massively broken. Yes, with the transmission or something. If I try to accelerate, it just starts vibrating out of control every gear. Look at the rear of the car. Hey, we just broke and hit the safety truck. You all right? You all right? Guy's trying to get out of the car. He might be on fire. He's out of the car.
Let's go back to Montoya's pit stop prior to this, and a lot of work going on under the car, Larry.
Yeah, evidently, you know, he was talking about maybe the vibration in every gear. It's like they were maybe trying to look and see if they had a rear end problem or something. That's the reason this crew member is sitting there trying to rotate the tire back and forth, and they're looking underneath in the drivetrain area.
And then he pulled off pit road, tried to gain speed down the backstretch and catch up to the pack under the caution flag.
Look how hot that was. And that's, I guarantee, and that's where he slammed into it.
And the most important thing, everyone is all right. Now, that truck was up against the safer barrier, which is steel, but is backed by foam blocks, which have doubtless taken a hit from the heat of that fire. And the big question right now is, what kind of shape is the racing surface in that was aflame after this strange crash down at turn number 3?
Fuel, you can see fuel still running out of that tank. It's 200 gallon in there. It's still running down the hill.
While they clean this up in turn 3 and the cars are stopped on the backstretch under the red flag. Let's go down to John Roberts and Michael Waltrip for a race recap.
Sometimes that lap car will mess up your formation like you see here. The lap cars move that front pack around a little bit and give that outside line a little better shot.
Three wide mid-pack, but moving.
Oh, baby.
Moving around a lap car.
Everybody hold a pretty wheel here.
And then they'll reform.
Hamlin could drop in line right there, and he did. He got in front of his team. Oh, there's a car off in the grass. More cars off in the grass.
3 cars sliding. Marcus Ambrose is 1.
It's Casey Mears, the 13 that they just had lapped.
Caution.
I'm just so those lap cars are so hard to get around when you're coming up on them 20 mile an hour faster than the lap cars going.
And there's Mears, and Ambrose gets away after that big spin. Fortunate, Darrell, that more cars weren't involved.
It looked like it was going to be a wad of them, but they all got them straightened out.
So let's have a look. Here's Casey Mears, and watch the blue car, the 43 of Eric Almirola, as this gets started.
Just gets real tight heading off in the corner down here. Again, Casey is getting lapped.
Stenhouse got into Almirola across the front of Mears and then Ambrose.
Well, Almirola just about.
I'm telling you.
He just barely slid through there after that happened.
I think the 9 car, Marcus Ambrose, he's got quite a bit of body damage. I don't know if it's going to be bad enough to take him out of contention or not. Look at Almirola right there. Whoopee. Nice save.
Watch this right here, though. Wow.
Well, in 2 of those cars, the 9 and 43 are teammates at Richard Petty Motorsports, Ambrose and Almirola. But Ricky Stenhouse was trying to move from the outside to the middle, and that hole just wasn't open.
Boy, you just don't get down on the apron very often in the trial and get it straightened up and keep on going.
So the caution waves with 22 laps to go. There's Stenhouse in the number 6. There's the first contact with the 43.
I think the 13 was just forcing the 43. He had nowhere to go, and the 6 was on the outside there, and they did make contact.
Clint Boyer gets the free pass. Watch Ricky Stenhouse.
It's more like the 43 seemed to me like may have gone up a little bit as much as the Stenhouse tried to come down. I think it was just getting tight right there as they went by the slow car of Mears.
Darrell, we talked about it earlier in the show, the tri-oval here. It is one of the most treacherous places of this racetrack.
Well, you're running the same speed through the tri-oval that you are in the, through the turns. You're running 200 mile an hour through here, and you don't have but 18 degrees of banking. So the car gets really light and gets really loose as you come through here.
That's Ryan Newman, 39, with Paul Menard.
Sometimes on the outside, they're getting into turn 3. You can pick up a little room, make up a little time, but they actually look to me like they might even be falling back a tad.
13 laps to go.
Oh, trouble, big trouble.
Mid-pack. Sliding and spinning into the infield, McMurray. And sliding up the racetrack, 1 car going to coast to the bottom. That's Eric Almirola. Regan Smith was in it, and Casey Kane. The left side of his car torn up, and we're back under caution for
Regan
the 9th
Smith.
time at lap 188.
Almirola, the 1 car there, McMurray's the one I saw. Man, he was spinning around like a top.
Carl Edwards has damage to the right front. Our pole sitter.
It's about mid-pack. You see McMurray right back here. He's the first guy I saw go around in the. Got a little wobble.
believe he blew a left rear tire. That thing started wiggling around, and as he came into the tri-oval, it spun out, and when it came to a stop, you can see the left rear tire is completely torn apart. So I think he had a cut tire, and the thing just got away from him.
Yeah, he was wobbling through the tri-oval there, and finally went around with him.
Another driver involved, Brad Keselowski, right there.
Wonder if Brad twittered that.
Right
Probably
there is McMurray.
Yeah, Keselowski and the 2 just drove underneath Casey Kane in the 5. Just nowhere to go.
Watch Tony Stewart there. He just worked his way right back. Keselowski missed that wreck by inches.
Boy, Almirola came up the track right in front of Dave Blaney, who missed him. Watch that orange and black number 1.
Yeah,
right side of your screen.
Right here. He starts wobbling right here, and then the car starts goes around, and it looked like a top. I saw that orange car just spin around, and look at Tony Stewart right there getting right through that mess.
Well, Stewart did get some damage in the first part of that crash,
yes,
though, Darrell.
He did. Yes, he did.
And from Casey Kane.
Whoa, Keselowski almost went over.
We got let's see, where are we at?
And we'll ride with Regan
Three wide,
in the furniture
three wide,
car.
43 still outside, right there, you see it?
I don't think he can see anything.
Carl Edwards, our pole sitter.
He almost made it through. Got some damage right there near the end of it.
Casey Kane.
Darrell, he did the same thing with his hands that Jimmy Johnson did in that wreck on lap 1.
We've had in-car cameras in these cars for years, and up until recently have I seen drivers let go of the wheel and tuck their hands out of the harm's way like that. They've learned a lot about this over the last year or two.
Keep in mind, Casey Kane is a longtime open wheeler, owns a sprint car team, and a defensive posture, a learned response when something like that happens. And with our new dual path onboard cameras, we can give you 2 views from the in-car. Here's what Jamie Mack had to say.
Broke on my car. I don't know what it was. I think the same thing they did the 42. Just spun out on me. Simple.
Well, you think about it, before Montoya hit that jet dryer, he was complaining about his race car, and you could see him wiggling down the back straightaway. Heard Jamie just say, maybe the same thing happened to my car.
And here's what's going to happen, Larry. Biffle is he's got to make a decision. Am I going to stay behind my teammate, or am I going to let that 11 push me right past him? That's a question that Biffle's got to sit there and ask himself.
And that's probably the question Matt Kenseth is asking himself about Greg Biffle.
I got to believe that Kenseth is a little skeptical based on the way they raced each other in their qualifying race.
And Denny Hamlin in 3rd in the number 11. Has no friends. 2 Fords, Hamlin's Toyota by itself, and 2 Chevrolets behind, Earnhardt and Burton. More Chevys, Harvick, Menard, Newman, and 14 Tony Stewart.
And there's Tony Stewart's teammate, Ryan Newman. Oh, Tony's going around. Another wreck through the tri-oval.
Kyle Busch, hard slide through the grass, no contact. At least half a dozen cars involved in this one. Dave Blaney drives away. That's Kyle Busch. Caution flag number 10 with 4 laps to go. Landon Castle, or excuse me, David Rudiman.
You know, Tony got around, but I don't know if he got a lot of damage or not. I see a lot of body damage and tires that got the side rubbed off them, but the car didn't look that bad once he got it straightened out.
Let's check with Matt.
EW, he just told Steve Addington, I pretty much said that we're going to need tires, but I got it.
Steve Addington, Stewart's new crew chief for 2012.
Let's see what happened. There's Tony is right back here, and I see him all of a sudden. He gets a little push from behind, maybe from Joey Logano.
He and Stenhouse go around. Newman and Busch.
And Newman and Busch was actually in front of Tony a little bit when that started happening.
Have to take a couple more looks at that.
Kyle Busch went for a long wild ride. Blaney involved.
Let's see here. Here's 39 up here. Right there. Stenhouse got into the side, and Stenhouse in the 6 got into Tony.
I'm not sure though that David Gilliland didn't get into the back of Stenhouse and push him up into Tony.
Could have to look at it again.
That's about the second or third wreck we've seen on the exit of the tri-oval. It just starts narrowing up right there.
Cars are really free and loose right through the tri-oval. I'm telling you, you're running 200 mile an hour through there. It's hard to hang on sometime.
You saw there where Kyle Busch in the 18 jumped down in front of Ricky Stenhouse in the 6.
I know Stenhouse hit Tony. I'm not sure if he got forced into him. Here's smoke right out here.
All right, there's Stenhouse with Gilliland behind him.
No, you know what? The 20 car and the 6 car make a little contact.
You're right.
And I'm not sure that didn't move the 6 car up, Stenhouse up just enough that he got into the left rear of Tony Stewart.
So let's regroup here. Joey Logano and Ricky Stenhouse make contact. Stenhouse moves up into Tony Stewart.
Watch him coming inside here. There you go. Outside, stay down. Lock it down, get it rolling here if you can. Keep coming across at you. Get it rolling here if you can. Leaders are in 2.
I believe the 20 nudged the 6, and then you put him into the side of Tony. That's what it looked to me like may have happened.
Michael, how do you see it?
What do you see, bud?
It just looked like to me that Stenhouse came into the tri-oval there and had a really good run. He moved up a little bit, and it created contact with the 20. I don't think Joey Logano had anything to do with it. I think Ricky just had a big run, and he didn't know what to do with it.
And there again, Darrell, we talk about closing speed. Ricky Stenhouse had a big run coming up through the pack, ran out of place to go.
Well, and you hit it on the head, up through the pack. And when you get up in the middle of cars like that, you can't, even if you try to slow down, you can't. So you make casual contact, which creates catastrophic results.
Now here's what sets us up though when we go back to racing.